Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, episode 2 of season 2. I have a phenomenal guest, and I'm excited, a little bit giddy today. Um, it's been a long time coming, and guess what? I was able to actually get her to come on the show. So you all are in for a treat. I have Towanna Burrows of the Coach Diversity Institute, and she is here with us today, and she's going to tell us her business journey story. Listen, I told y'all I was going to give y'all some good Black women in business who have actually done their work and have actually been on the journey and been doing this for a minute. And ladies and gentlemen, here she is today. So round of applause for her. Thank you so much, Tawana, for coming. We really appreciate you for just taking out the time out of your busy day. I'm honored to have you. I've known you for a while, call you my friend, but I think this is a huge thing to have you on. So thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
I am wonderful. It is so good to actually see you in the podcast world. I mean,
Yes. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, she looks wonderful too. Still.
long overdue it is.
Yes. Yes. It is long overdue. It's long overdue. Um, Now we met Black Life Coaches, and I'm trying to figure out what year was that we met. And it's funny because I do this with every guest. I try to figure out when
20,
we met. Is it
2011, 2012.
Yes, it had to be around there. When did you do your first Black Life Coaches Network
Oh,
summit?
the event. That would have been 2013, 2014. One of
Okay.
somewhere in there.
That would have been when
Oh,
we first met because I remember you gave Paul Carrick Brunson
yeah,
award.
I did. Have
And
you seen him lately?
listen, I interact with him all the time on social media. He is going strong as ever with his Jamaican self, having 80 jobs.
I'm
Yes,
telling you, I am so proud of what he's done. Him and June
doing,
both and the kids. Oh my
yes,
God. Well, anyway,
yes,
I digress. But yes, that is when we met. And that was the
yes.
first
And you had Dr. Pam Perry there was there too.
yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yes,
remember.
it's been yeah. So, we all, what's interesting? The timing of all of our, like the beginning of all these names we're naming. It's interesting because we all started at a certain time. Now, Paul, he was ahead of all
Yeah.
of us, but we
Yeah.
all started, and you can not necessarily our beginning, but we all were in a certain time of our businesses where they were just about to break, right?
Yeah.
We were all visible. We were all, trying to figure it out. But yeah, Black Life Coaches brought a lot of wonderful people together and relationships were built. And I'm extremely proud to say that, like you, we are all in some way still connected. And that's wonderful. So wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. And I often look at all of those people now, especially the ones that I still talk to, and it's a sense of being proud.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing all those people and thinking, wow, so all these people like really are in the same kind of arena doing the same type of things. What made you do that? Like what gave you that idea? Because I'll be honest, I don't even remember how I found
The
Black
Black
Life Coaches Network or how I even I just remember being excited about wanting to go to that conference and scraping up my little coins at the time. I remember like being excited and my friends was like, why are you doing that? Like, what is that? I mean, I didn't have I'll be honest, like y'all, I didn't have any clue what it was I was going to. It sounded like something I needed to be a part of. I knew it was in line with what I was into at the time.
Yes.
And it sounded like a place, it sounded like my face needed to be in the place and it was people I needed to be around. And it
And
sounded like it was
that
going
was
to be
true.
fun.
And it was fun, and that is true. It was the place you needed to be. So it was 2015, and we had Black Life Coaches was an idea that I had because in the coaching space, of the coaching
Hmm.
profession, coaches were traditionally gay white men and middle-aged white women. Because of that,
Wait, they was gay white men.
gay white
Shut
men,
up. For real?
yeah, that was the majority of the coaches. Yeah.
Oh. I'm
Yeah, so that
sorry.
was the population, that was the demographic in the coaching community. And every event you went to, that's what you would see over and over again. And of course, over time, for me, I was not that I was sick of it, but I was, I wanted to see representation in my particular
Okay.
school of training. I wanted to see more people of color and not being the only one all the time. And so when I got serious about coaching, it was 2008. And so I had already started my businesses, but when I launched Black Life Coaches, it was because it was an answer to a bigger problem, not enough coaches of color. So I decided to do an
Oh,
experiment to say, okay, I'll start with my own community and let's see if Black coaches can come together in community and learn from one another, and increase our visibility in this coaching space so that people can know there is diversity in coaching. And that's where it started. So that was 2000 and I guess 12. And it
okay.
was slow growth. There was a lot because technology was a lot harder then to reach and create that momentum.
Right.
And by the time you and I met in 2015, Coach Diversity had been moving for several years. And to where you came on, it was really had a great support network. It had a lot of wonderful people from all over the United States
Mm-hmm.
answering the call to diversify coaching. Now, what
Mm-hmm.
I discovered though is that within
Mm-hmm.
the coach diversity community, people still were very much committed to only talking to mom and them, their clergy, or their best friends, right? They didn't see coaching as an opportunity, or confidential for that matter. They were still very afraid. They didn't see it like counseling, but they were thinking that if I need to tell somebody my business, and because they thought that's what it was about, pouring out your heart like a counselor, then there was still hesitation. So we needed to dispel the myths in the Black community around the benefits of coaching. So that is why it started. And that was an answer to a call. It was a gap in the marketplace. I answered the call, tested it out. It was great. We ran for many years. And then I ran into another problem that needed to be solved within that. So that was the part two of the next business
Yeah.
opportunity.
Okay. And I already know where you're going with that problem. But before we go to that problem, I got to back up a little bit.
Sure.
Because I started where I met you.
Yes, 2015.
That is not where you went into business, though. Let's be clear.
No,
So, what I need to start with is, when did you decide you didn't want to punch somebody's clock?
2007, December of 2007.
Okay.
Yes,
So
I left.
yeah.
I
So with
left.
all fairness, we got to start there.
Yes, I left corporate America. I am a scientist. I'm a chemist and mathematician. Left in December of 2007. Discovered that I needed to do something different. I wanted to wind down. I was extremely high strung because
Now
of the
you're wait a minute. This y'all I'm hearing for the first time. You go. You're a chemist and a mathematician.
You didn't know that?
I did listen.
Oh my
I
God.
thought your doctorate was like in education.
It is. It is.
No, but I thought like you was like psychology,
Oh no.
business conflict information. Like I
No.
never would have guessed you had any degrees.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
in what? It's in what now? Like,
Chemistry. Chemistry.
oh, that's
Yeah.
total nerd. Like that's
Yeah.
total
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah,
so you was meant to be in the lab, like doing
I
the,
was in the lab. I was in the lab. I was the first Black female chemist in that organization that I worked for, straight out of
and you
college.
didn't want to be the first uh female scientist that, you know.
What? Well, I was the first of my kind in the organization that I chose to
Yeah.
work
So
for. I
you didn't
did. I
like
did
that?
that. I loved it. It was a great time. But over time, you mature, you get promoted, you level up, you move into management, and then technology took over. And
Mm-hmm.
we ended up shutting the labs down because technology was faster than processing in the labs the way we were doing the work we were doing. And so I went back to school for digital transmission systems that would allow me like digital transmission, like pagers and cell phones. So I was at the beginning of the turn to technology, away from analog systems to digital systems. And that's
I'm glad you explaining this to the people. Did you? Because she look, y'all, she's talking real fast. So she moved. Listen, for all of my listeners that are not, if you're not a scientist or if you're not very technology sound, I'm hoping that you keep it up with her because she went through that real fast.
Yeah. So no, when digital systems came out,
Mm-hmm.
it allowed us to pivot from being in the lab to being more visible in, IT and some of the
Mm.
other things that began to take over. And that was the what I would say the 90-degree turn in my career that allowed me to be more exposed
Oh
to a
my.
different to another career path. And I ended up staying in IT for the rest of my career. So I did like 10 years in the labs and then the back 16 years in IT.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did. I real. I listen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hearing this for the first time, so you have to excuse my shock.
Yeah.
Wow. So you worked a long time before you said, "Let me go do this on my own."
Absolutely. I had a full career,
Hey,
26 years.
oh, so this is your second.
This is my encore. Absolutely. I would say it is
Yeah.
because when I launched my first when I launched the entrepreneurial journey in 2008,
Mhm.
January of '08, it was I mean, I knew how to run a business. I'd been ran my own nonprofit for teen girls. I've done a lot in the space of social justice and change.
Mhm.
Um, I just needed to figure out what I wanted to do to come down from being traveling 65% of the time, being a single mom, and having my daughter being cared for by my mom and her grandparents while I'm, in Asia somewhere. So it was a lot to deal with, and it was time for me to change life.
Okay.
And so that was the beginning of the change.
Mm. Okay. So we didn't went from scientist to
Mhm.
IT support technical, the big boss in that, to now you like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this on my own. I don't want to punch nobody clock no more. I want to be at home more. And the first business you try is
Well, I started to work as in management consulting. So when I left IT, there was still a gap where there were issues with employee retention, leadership and growth, succession
Mhm.
planning. So all of those were problems I left as a leader in the organization. I came out to be a problem solver for my colleagues who stayed back. And I knew they were still struggling with finding great talent, diversifying, getting ready for this new world that we were headed towards. And so that was the beginning of it. It's like, I think I want to now solve a new problem because I had already gone through the season of being the only of my type to recruiting more that looked like me to help to diversify and color the
Mhm.
community that I worked in to where I then said, okay, I'm done. I'm retiring from this world, but I want to still help the individuals that are who are still there at the offices and doing, IT stuff. So
Mhm.
they became my first clients. So I basically outsourced myself to all of my tech friends and
Mhm.
helped them with leadership growth and development and strategy planning. And then that's when I heard about this coaching thing because one of my clients said, have you heard of coaching? Do you know about coaching?
Mm.
And one of my dearest friends who I stayed connected to after I left the organization or retired from them, um,
Mhm.
he told me he was working with a coach to help him with his transition into retirement. I'm like, what the heck is that? And that's when I started doing researching because I knew that we were all headed in that transition where we wanted to do something different. We wanted to quit and start
You're
new.
right. Right.
And so I said coaching was interesting. Let me try it. I loved it, fell in love with it. And then I added it as one of the services I provided in my management consulting firm. And then that was the beginning of the whole movement.
So your first legitimate business was a management consulting firm. What did
Yes,
you call that?
it was Tawanna Freeman and Associates. Ooh, I ain't said that in a long time. Ooh, Jennifer, don't.
Inside joke, inside joke, inside joke. Okay. And this firm did did management consulting. I'm
Yes,
trying. I'm
yes.
trying, y'all. She is really making this difficult. So y'all did management consulting and
It's
what
a good
else?
thing this is not a video, right?
I know this is why I do audio only. So
Whew.
y'all did. I'm just trying to get what all did y'all do at Tawanna Freeman and
Yeah.
Associates? Can
Yeah,
you
so
please
we
tell me?
we did. We worked with leaders with, like I said before, succession planning, employee retention, helping them with, this post-recession. In that season, it was a big recession, and so we were helping with post-recession employee challenges, and
Mm-hmm.
again, helping with just obviously organizational dynamics and being able to be a support to people that I cared a lot about. And because I enjoyed working in professional development and organizational development, it was easy. It was easy work. And then coaching came about, and I'm like, you know what? I think I can, add these services, and I think I might be pretty good at this.
Now,
And
when you okay, when you say it was easy,
yeah.
are you saying it was easy to get clients once you started your firm? Like, because see, some
No, I
entrepreneurs,
wouldn't say that
you
part was
start and it's
easy.
not easy. So what?
No, no,
I
no.
mean,
I don't
like,
want to give that impression, because entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. It is 100% hard work to get
right,
that baby off the ground, right?
right.
It's a lot of work. What I was referring to when I said easy was the work that I was doing, the services that I was providing. It was second nature. I had given 26 years of my life working in the space of organizational design and development and strategy. So that was the easy part. I knew what to do with those services. Coaching came along and then solidified a lot of the thought leadership that I was studying that allowed for me to be great at that work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Towanna Freeman and Associates, the very first company, came about that would allow me to kind of like do my thing.
Now, with your first company, did you hire like a
No,
whole
no,
team of
no,
no
no,
marketing team,
no,
no special rollout, no
no. It was me, find me, and only thing I needed
me
help.
by me.
Me, find me. And the only thing I needed help in was with building that website. That was JavaScript. I had no background in coding. I had no coding expertise. So I had to find, my friends and say, do you know somebody who knows, to
Mm-hmm,
build
mm-hmm,
these sophisticated websites? Because it just couldn't be average. It had to be, nice.
mm. Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
it took some time and some investment to build the website, of course, but everything else was all on me. I couldn't afford to pay anybody
Mm-hmm.
after myself.
Right, right, right,
You
right.
reinvest in your company year over year, but it wasn't enough to hire anyone at the time. Yep, not enough.
Okay. So you had to basically do it. You did all your marketing, all of your
Yep, all me, all me. It was all me, and I had a nice system. I had studied systems because me as a scientist, that's a part of my brain is built to do. So I built the
uh-huh.
systems. I figured it out. I learned how to make it work, automated in
Mm-hmm.
those days, which was very hard, but we figured it out. And it was not as expensive as it is today, but it was quite challenging financially, because if you're going to be on your own and
Mm-hmm.
100% a solopreneur, then you absolutely have to look at what is it that I bring to the table naturally that I can do without having to hire anyone. And then when am I going to start? What am I willing to release and turn over to someone, one employee at a time, to where I back out of those roles in operation? Because it's all about its operation of the maintenance and the operations side that gets a CEO or a president of a company really stuck. So
Yeah.
entrepreneurs have to watch out for how long are you going to stay
Mm-hmm.
in the business versus allowing other parts of the skills that you used to do to be outsourced.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how long did we allow this business to flourish before we said, okay, let's take it up a notch?
Yeah, so when I kept Towanna Freeman and Associates moving, and in parallel launched Black Life Coaches Network. So they were
Okay.
running at the same time, two different companies running at the same time. When I launched Black Life Coaches, that's when I started outsourcing. That's when I started hiring talent, consultants and people who are skilled at doing the things that I didn't want to do,
Mm-hmm.
membership-based organizations, databasing, all those
Mm-hmm.
things were outside of my knowledge base.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, graphic designs, all that stuff that
Mm-hmm.
way more than I wanted to do. that's where I learned when I
Mhm.
launched Black Life Coaches Network.
Now take that. I'm going to ask you this because nowadays, when someone is doing business, of course, we have a whole lot of freelance people out here that we have to try to figure out who we're going to hire to do different things. Obviously, I have people in my business, I have to source out different things. I'm very clear what I'm good at, and that which I am not, I hire someone to do. So,
Mhm.
what is your advice or your practice? Like, how do you choose in 2024? Because see, now things are a whole lot different with how you choose who to freelance with, how do you choose who consult with. On our last episode, we talked about the difference between a consultant and a contract worker, because there
Yeah.
is a difference there. And
Yes.
so I'm curious now, if you're looking for a graphic designer, if you're looking for someone to edit something for you, or you're looking for someone to do some work on a website, what are you looking at in 2024?
Yeah. In 2024, those individuals are either full-time employees if they
Mhm.
are running the day-to-day of the company, and or contractors for special projects.
Okay.
Right. So if we're launching a project, my team who's on the day-to-day, they will then be the liaison to the outsourced service, which is the contractor, to jump this new project out into the world. So it is absolutely a strategy. I always do it that way. So I have my core team. My core team is the knowledge base. We outsource by project, whatever. So one, because the team that you hire in the day-to-day, your employees,
Mhm.
those are the individuals that are intimately involved in the business, and they're the ones that are going to coordinate and or project manage all the talent you bring on part-time, because projects come and go in my world, right? So I'll launch a thing and then I will sunset a thing, and those talent is contracted talent, not consulting talent. I don't have to have consultants. In the early years there was a consultant, but not now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you're picking out these people, because I mean nowadays it's not, it's the the pickings can be slim, or you can pick and think you picked good and you really didn't pick that good. So how do you vet people nowadays? How do you, yeah, see that there, that's what I was trying to get to.
I'm
How do
I'm
you
trying
know
to go
like who,
back.
how do you know like who's a good, I mean, because like I said, um working in the freelance world, the work ethic is way different
It's very different.
than what we're used to. And the expectations are different, the communication is different.
Mhm.
Even now when you meet with somebody, you meet on a Zoom call, um the etiquette is different, for those of us that are used to being in the corporate America world. The expectations are different. And so depending on the age of your freelancer, and what their business etiquette is, what their work ethic is, you can run into all different types of miscommunication problems and things of that nature. So I'm just asking, from Dr. Tawanna's perspective, when
Yeah.
you are looking at how to hire people now, and also if there's a freelancer listening, and we could talk about ways that you may not, that you can probably not get hired by people if you're doing this and this, versus if you're doing this and this is a way for you to probably be seen. Because I know sometimes it's easier to see the people not to hire than it is to see the people to hire in some
Yeah.
instances. So yeah, I'm
So,
just curious, what's your process?
okay. So there, in the early years when money was lean, I would hire freelancers. Now that is the pay per job, pay per task kind of gigging, right?
Mm-hmm.
When money became more accessible and abundant,
Mm-hmm.
I shifted from freelancer or the freelance mindset to
Mm-hmm.
individuals who were interested in being a part of a mission or vision. Like they
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be a part of the organization. So more like individuals who come from higher education and they want to work in the space or to provide, and learn under me. So not necessarily interns, but young individuals, young professionals. I then transitioned to those kind of people. Then I moved into individuals who were had the corporate experience, had the expertise, and that they were wanting to launch their own business, but they didn't know how, and they wanted to work on a small business and learn under me, and so that I can mentor them while we're working on the projects that I had. So I went from the freelancer mentality, and the reason why I'm saying this specifically is because if you consider the word freelancer, you're thinking about Fiverr, Upwork, and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Mm-hmm.
people, no, I'm not. I don't do that. If money is abundant, I'm not looking for talent there. I'm looking for talent in spaces and places where the skill is higher,
Mm-hmm.
the skill set is higher, the knowledge and experience is actually better. The field
Mm-hmm.
of or the pool of applicants are very different. Um,
So
so
are you not recommending places like Fiverr? I just want to be clear here so that all the people will know what you're saying. Are you not recommending those type of places? Or are
when
you just saying
when
for the
your
jobs
money
that you have, you don't hire from those
when your
places?
money is lean, you will be in those places and spaces 100%. Absolutely. The coin is limited.
When your money when your money
So
is lean, ladies
when
and
your
gentlemen.
money is lean or limited, those places and spaces, those freelancers, too easy to do it because it's
When you must
a
cut
lot
your
of talent.
when you must be careful with your cost. We understand
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
then those are the places you must go to. Okay.
Absolutely.
But if you are not counting your pennies, then
Well, we're
you would
always
suggest.
counting our pennies. It's just that our budget allocated to that particular line item is larger.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
in your when you look at your cash flow statements and you look at the spreadsheet, you have to look at how much money is in that particular line item of your budget of your spreadsheets because you want to increase it over time. You want to be able to add more money to those categories only because you eventually want to find talent that's going to be with you for a year or more.
Okay.
Freelancers are just gigging. They want like, let's get this done and I'm out. We want talent that's willing to last just a lot longer than just the project.
Okay. So then where do you find those type of people?
So you can find those people. Like I said, they either come to you, they find you on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
They talk about how that they are interested in learning from you. They're interested in this particular field of work, and if are you hiring? So in my world in education, it's typically people from higher ed. It's typically people who are already in business, have their own business. They have a very central line of services. They're
Mhm.
just not, all over the place. Very specific line of service, very specific in what they want and how they want to grow. And that's where I now look for talent. And I
Okay.
can tell you, everybody that is on my team for the last 5 years, I could tell you maybe only the executive assistants, the virtual assistants over the last 10 years, 5 years, were the only individuals that were like freelancers or
Mhm.
because those are transition jobs.
Right.
Um, but curriculum designers, can writers, and they're typically referrals or people that are really wanting to learn under me.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. You heard it yourself. Listen, I'm just asking the questions for the people. The people have to get the knowledge. I'm just asking the questions for the people.
Mhm.
So, where are we on this journey? I think we're at Black Life Coaches and we're still with Tawanna Freeman and Associates, right? That's where we are.
Yes, we have not made the
Okay.
transition. So Black Life Coaches, we stayed with that until I discovered another problem.
Yes, and see, this is kind of the sad part for me, ladies and gentlemen, because I was a part of Black Life Coaches, and I feel like Tawana took that away from us. But I'm not going to go there on this podcast because it's another podcast for another day. I'm gonna let her explain to y'all why she took our little group from us. But go ahead.
So ultimately, what happened with Black Life Coaches, and I don't know if I've ever told this story or not.
No,
Um,
you have not.
I don't.
Inquiring minds are waiting to hear.
So the Black Life Coaches Network was a wonderful concept. Unfortunately, not all coaches were trained equally. So you had talent that wasn't skilled. You had people who really needed to, they were self-identified as coaches. They hadn't gotten certifications. They didn't have the education. And that was a risk to put them in front of clients. It was truly a risk. So if I'm building a brand that is about a certain level of standard and excellence in the coaching community, coaching space, and we were building that brand reputation, coaches needed to have those basic things that made us competitive or beyond the competitive edge. And that was beginning of the pivot, because I knew that the coaches that were self-identifying themselves as a coach that didn't want to go to school for it, because at the time it was quite costly to even go to a school to get certified. But for people who didn't want to, is because they said, I've been coaching my whole life, I have experience, I come from this, I've been a manager, I've been a leader, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And that's true. That experience does contribute to your knowledge. However, if you are entering a world where the competition are credentialed and certified,
Right.
you have to level up. So the
Yes.
beginning of the change for me was, hey, I need to write a curriculum that would allow our coaches to learn the coaching skill set where they felt that it was like, it wasn't just this basic whitewashed, didn't speak to diversity, didn't address issues of people of color, people of difference, of any type of difference. So I had to first create a curriculum that would gain the respect of the Black Life coaches. I needed to do something that will cause them to say, that I would invest in, that
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to go to school for. That was the beginning of it. And once
Mm-hmm.
I designed it for me, and I remember it was, I think it was our fourth Black Life Coaches Summit. We were
Mm-hmm.
in Chicago, and I launched Coach Diversity at that last summit, letting them know that this school is the school that we need to be competitive with the gay white men and middle-aged white women.
Hmm.
And that was the
Did you
beginning of
did you did you word it like that?
it. Whenever I talk to people, yes, I do.
Oh, okay, great. I just a question.
Because that was where the community was, the coach community. That's who they were. That's the demographic. That's what it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to diversify, it means you have to show up with the papers.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
did not want us to continue to exist without those papers.
Okay.
So those coaches who were like, I'm down, if they didn't have the credentials, they got credentialed. They did. They followed me right on through Coach Diversity, got certified, and we keep it going. And they're working. They got clients. They're fantastic. Life is good. But those individuals who said, no, I'm not interested in doing that way, I submitted that coaching wasn't really their passion, because if we look at all the people that were in BLC,
Mm-hmm.
many of them found their passion while they were deciding, like, what is my true purpose? What is it that I'm really here to do? What difference do I want to make in the world? And a lot of it didn't include coaching. It did not include
Hmm.
being a coach. Yep. A
I
lot
need
of
to
it
go
was
back and I need to go back and look at everybody who was
it
there.
was being a consultant, being a facilitator. I wanted to be a teacher or a trainer, not a coach. I want to be a
Right.
consultant and run assessments and tell people what to do. I want to be a strategist, not coaching. And there's some very powerful, nationally known keynote speakers and consultants, and huge as far as significance concerns. Some of our community from Black Life Coaches, they ain't small folk. They some
Yeah, yeah.
significant personalities, which
Oh,
we,
absolutely.
yeah. And so because of that, they all found their space in the world, and many of
Right.
them took coaching with them or abandoned it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So at that point, you dissolved Tawana Freeman and Associates and just
Oh
went straight
yeah,
into.
yeah, I did. I took Towanna Freeman Associates and rebranded it into Coach Diversity Institute.
Okay, so then it was no BLC, it was no Tawana
BLC
Freeman, it was
still
just.
existed. Black Life Coaches still
Oh,
existed. Then we expanded to Vida Coaches, which is the Hispanic version of BLC, and we created what was the other one for the Asian community? Oh, I
oh, I
forgot.
saw I saw that too.
Yes, and so
Um, yeah.
It's been a while. My God, my head is not thinking right now. So, but yeah, we had the LGBTQ plus infinity group. So we had all of those groups that
Mm-hmm.
came into our space, and then we realized we didn't have to break down. We didn't have to break down into infinity groups. We found our people as a collective, and we held our own identities in the collective. And so
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have to break off once we became a community. And we have almost 3,000 graduates now. So for us, it's like you have this community now of people who are like, you know what? I said, this is how I identify, this is who I am, and you're honored or respected without having to break down into infinity groups because we're not solving a problem of identity, respect, and value.
Right,
We're not
right.
solving that problem. Organizations who create those systems or create those opportunities for people to create community is because they're not seen, they're not heard, and they must exist. We don't have to do that in coach diversity in the same way.
Okay. Okay. All right. So so with the transition, you felt like, okay, I'm I'm steady progressing. You
Yeah,
were you were
yeah.
okay with that change and
Oh, I was fantastic with the change. Some of the strongest personalities of Black life coaches, like Dr. D. Von Young, Dr.
hmm
Deborah Gray Young,
hmm
um, you.
oh yes, I remember Dr. Deborah Gray Young. Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes, yes, yes, yes.
to
Yes.
include yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
even talking to, I mean, there were so many people who advised me or gave me wise counsel while we were in that transition.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people doing powerful things, and I think that transition was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Increasing the visibility of Black coaches was the first part of it. And then after that, everyone else came about. So we
Mm-hmm.
truly do have a strong, diverse representation of coaches in the space of, in the coaching world. And because now coaching is global,
It
um,
is. And
it,
your Coach Diversity Institute. I mean, I see people go through there now that go through your program and I know them and I'm like, y'all working with Tawana. I know Tawana. You know Tawana. I'm like from years ago, girl. Like y'all just discovering her. Like I'm so but it's amazing to me how like people
yeah,
are just discovering coaching. It's
mhm,
almost like you just discovered that. And
yeah,
so, but to see Coach Diversity Institute kind of in bright lights always makes me smile
yeah,
because I remember kind of where it started and I feel like I'm a part of that in a certain feeling because
absolutely,
it's kind of like nostalgia almost because it's like
absolutely,
wow, you know,
absolutely.
and I realize where that is really rooted in, and so that's a smile for me. Now
Mhm.
let's get into the juicy questions as an entrepreneur because there's some questions that we just have to ask in business.
Okay,
Now, would you recommend, and I've asked all of my other business ladies this, so I don't want you to feel like I'm singling you out.
okay,
Let's say you have a romantic partner that you've had romantic stuff with.
okay.
Would you do business with this person?
No, no.
Just a no.
Next question. The answer is no.
The last, the last answer I got was if we had a contract, if we had a, you, no, no
No,
way, no. Oh,
no,
all
no.
righty. Well,
You know,
I just,
the same motto I have when it comes to my personal life, I have in my business life. I do not date around. I am very specific about the type that I will work with, the
mm-hmm.
type of client I will work with, the type of person I get in a relationship with, and the two will not ever mix.
Even if it's a spouse,
Absolutely not.
you don't think you could? Because
Mm.
I actually think I could do business. I just because of my wife's temperament, I think I could do business with her.
You absolutely could, but you asked me that
Right.
question. Because because I don't do relationships like that.
You're not acting right on here, ma'am. You're supposed to be.
Jennifer, I don't know why I agreed to this interview because you about to somebody better remind me I'm being recorded.
Oh, just asking. So it's just no.
No,
Okay. All right.
under no
Just
circumstance.
all right. I mean, hey, every entrepreneur and every business owner has their own set of rules.
Yes,
This is just your particular set of rules for you and your advice. Your
absolutely.
answer to that is Absolutely no. Okay.
Absolutely not.
Now, if you had to speak into, if you had to speak to what is probably, what would you say has been your biggest mistake that you think in business? If you had to go back and do it again, what's one thing that you would do over if you could?
The one thing I would do over is um, not to see my own value. So
Mm,
when you're a solopreneur and you don't have, and you surround yourselves the best you can with mentors, you hope these are people that you have relationship with already, that have experiences being a business owner. I did not have a lot of experienced entrepreneurs around me when I first kicked off in 2008.
okay.
Now, fast forward, plenty of folk who know how to advise me and keep me really ahead of the game. Now, so I second guessed my abilities to a fault. There was no reason for me to second guess what I brought to the table. And this is why I teach it when I do business development with my clients who, people who I mentor or who come to me, and I just give them the best I can give them. I will always say it is most important for you to understand that your street value, your market value, that somebody will pay to hire you to work for them in any type of Fortune 500, that value, your skills, that market value does not disappear when you become an entrepreneur. You have to hold on to the fact that somebody is willing to pay you straight off the street for what your resume says about you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But when you become an entrepreneur, you somehow, because of fears, common fears,
mm-hmm.
you run into that brick wall of saying, I'm not sure if I can do this. I'm not sure if people pay this. And that's where solopreneurs that's why it takes so long making good money.
Oh, is that what it is? That's the you just solved the secret for us. Is that what it
I
is?
wouldn't say I solved all the secrets, but the
Mm,
number one starting place is knowing your worth.
we got to know our worth.
Absolutely. Because many
Mm,
people will pimp themselves out to anybody at the low cost because they need to pay the light bill. I get it. I know it. I understand.
did y'all hear? Do not pimp yourself out. Don't do it.
Well, the
Don't
thing is,
do it.
when money is tight, we'll say, you know what, but I got to pay this bill and I
No, I
wanted to
like I like how you said earlier when money is lean. I'm gonna start using that. So don't be mad at me when I start using when
know.
money is lean.
Yeah. Because I tell you, when you say yes, okay, that's okay. So use the concept that I said, like I'm a choosy lover, I'm a choosy dater. I'm not gonna say yes to just anybody, right?
Right?
So I have to maintain that standard in all areas of my life. I have to do my work to make sure I maintain that standard in as a mother, as a significant to someone else, as a businesswoman. I have to remind myself of who I am in all areas of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And as I remind myself, then I won't be putting myself out there just for somebody to say, okay, well, let's just go out and have a dinner. Well, I
Right.
wouldn't have said yes to you anyway. Or a client who says, I don't really have the budget. I, I say yes anyway. Why would I
Right.
do that? So there's a level of confidence, a level of self-assurance, a level of understanding regarding your worth that
Mm-hmm.
cannot be missed or forgotten.
Hmm. Now that listen, that there was a good answer. This is gonna be that's a good answer. Okay. My next question, because we had a little spicy one and then we had a little calm one. See how I did that there? I was trying to, because you almost went to the left on those, so I had to bring you back. Bring you back. Okay, this is the next one. I think this is going so well. You're doing so good, Tawana. Thank you for being my guest. Doing
Oh
so
yeah.
good. Listen, again, the people have these questions that they have already written in and asked. So I am just the messenger. Don't shoot me, okay? I'm just asking what the people want to know, okay? Okay.
Okay.
Can you please explain your difference between having money and being wealthy?
What is the difference between having money and being wealthy?
Mm-hmm.
So being wealthy is defined by an individual. So I can say I am wealthy, meaning I have all of what I need, and that wealth is determined by me.
Mm-hmm.
It could be my family, my bills are just my house size. Wealthy is a mindset. So it's like, this is what I define as what's important to me. And I'm experiencing joy. I have no worries or concern. All my needs are provided. That's wealthy. And no one can tell me how much I need to value what wealth means to me. That's
Okay.
very individual.
Okay.
Compared to, what was the other one you said? Just
Having money.
just having money. Okay, having money is then a comparison. It's between me and my neighbors, me and the Joneses, me and the other business owner, me looking on the internet, comparing myself to other people. Having money means I'm setting a marker. Like I need to have multi-million dollars. It is a goal, it is a marker, and you're going after the money, and you set that as the standard. And you go after it, you run after it until you obtain it, and then you move the mark again. So having money and wealth are two different things, because having money is then, again, you set the amount and you go for it. You may run folk over to get it. you may hustle and grind to get it, or you may go at it with ease and you know manifest it. I don't know how you're going to get to the dollar amount, but in the space of wealth, it is, where are you at peace with your needs? That's how I view it, because I live in a space of abundant wealth, and my level of comfort is not to the degree where I'm comparing it to anyone else. Like, I'm happy right where I am, and everything that is above what I need and want is extra. Yeah.
Okay. Do you find it as a successful entrepreneur, business owner, woman, do you find it hard to manage your love life with your parent life, with your like do you find how do you manage all of that?
I don't find it
I,
hard. I don't find it hard to manage,
not
Jennifer.
at all?
It's not hard to manage. No,
Oh.
I I I enjoy what I do, so it's not work. I have fallen in love with what I do. I have fallen in love with my life, right? So my children aren't fit in. We coexist. Everything coexists. And the beautiful thing is that I can be here in my home office. I can be out in the world traveling, and I still feel like my children are with me. So it is a happy coexistence. My personal life, on the other hand, it's not that I don't have time to fit it in. It's just that my sense of purpose and where I am, I'm wondering, Jennifer. Now, let's be fair. This is the hard part of being a woman of purpose, because it can all coexist. But finding that purpose, that person of purpose, that person of significance while you're in your purpose, it's not easy. It's not easy for all of us.
No, it's not.
So,
No, it's not. I guess that would allude to you haven't found your person yet.
um, if I wanted to settle, I probably could.
No, I didn't say nothing about settle. I said you haven't found your person yet. I don't believe in settling here at the Jennifer Experience.
I'm about to say, does your audience know the depth of who you are?
Wo- Settle.
Does your audience,
That's a bad word. You
your
cussing on my
audience,
podcast? No, ma'am, we don't settle.
well, I'm about to say, your audience
No.
knows that the beginning of the Jennifer experience is the relationship experience.
Listen, my audience knows me well enough to know that was code for at this present time. You have not found the one.
No, I have not.
Okay.
But I am open to it if that ever happens.
Okay. Well, see, so I got that next question out of you. Now I can move on to my next one. What are you most proud of out of
My,
all of your business dealings, all the things that you've done? Because you've done a whole lot.
oh yeah, I've done a lot. And
So
you're
what are
meaning
you most proud of
on in any category of my life?
in business?
In business, I am extremely proud of Coach University. Extremely proud of what it's done. We,
Okay.
again, the impact it's had nationally and internationally, the type of students that come into our classroom, the way organizational culture is shifting because of what we do, I am so proud of how it has changed. Now, remember, when I say the world, I'm talking about Towanna's world. I'm not talking about the world as the planet. You know what I mean? It's like we all operate in our own space in this life. And my particular corner of the world or my particular assignment may be smaller than the other guy who's on TV and, doing kind of like, like Paul, we were just talking about him. He's big time, man. He's gone so far. He's amazing. We
Right,
admire
right,
him. That's his world.
right.
I'm smaller than that, but I am so happy that
Yes.
I can say that I have graduated some of the most incredible students.
You
I have
have.
impacted some of the most incredible Fortune 500, Fortune 100 in all a short amount of time. It just feels like it happened yesterday.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's awesome. That's awesome because you definitely have made a difference in that area. And I see that all the time with your graduees and all the people that have come from Coach Diversity Institute. I mean, it's the talk of the town. So we do see. Um, but I mean, I think that's beautiful, what you're doing, and you can tell that you're proud of your work. And as an entrepreneur, um, I know for myself, being proud of my business is one of the best things. Like I'm being proud of what I put out, being proud of whatever the Jennifer Experience name is on. I'm happy with that. Like you can't tell me nothing about my stuff when I know if I'm giving it my best. Now I'm
And
very
that's why
careful.
you'll never give it away. That's why you won't put
Right,
it out. That's why you
right,
won't sit on the side and have somebody criticize it.
right. But that's also why it can't be duplicated. See,
Well,
that's
it can, they can try.
they could try. They could
They
try.
can
But I
try.
mean, I literally named it the Jennifer Experience for a reason. So yeah.
I just realized that. That's a good one.
I literally did that. And it's funny because when I first started, a lot of people was like, "Why would you name your company after you? Like that's not gonna work."
Smart.
And now here we are 10 years later, and it's like, "Oh, I see why you did it now."
Very smart.
I had a thought. And sometimes
But your work is very personal. Your
it
work is
is.
personal,
It
and
is.
it makes perfect sense that your brand be represented that way. Absolutely.
It is. It is. It is. It is. And so yeah. So this, I mean, listen, Tawana, I really want to thank you for joining me today and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom. I mean, how you have built your companies up and all of you answering all of my questions so graciously as you have. I mean, listen, this type of knowledge you really can't pay for.
Right.
Um, when people sit down and they pour into you, and I can tell y'all, I mean, Tawana and I have known each other for a long time, so she has seen me grow. She has invested in me and put time into me, and so I don't know what she thinks of me now, but I know what she thought of me when she first met me, and she thought enough to put time into me. So I am just delighted that we had this time together. And so again, thank you for being my special guest and sharing your knowledge with us and how you do business. I learned something today because some of this stuff I did not know. Like how you started your first stuff. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Um, but I'll definitely keep what I've learned today in mind. I hope you all were taking notes. Of course, we want you to like, subscribe, and share. And I will make sure that at the end of this, all of Tawana's contact information is out there so you can go follow her and nag her and, send her all y'all questions in her inbox instead of asking me. And then y'all can find out about Coach Diversity Institute in case you're wanting to be a coach. If you think that's what you want to be, listen, Tawana can help you figure that out for
Mhm.
sure. For
Mhm.
sure. And
Mhm.
if you want to get certified, her program is where you need to go. But listen, Tawana, seriously, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. And this has been a treat. I hope you enjoyed yourself. This has been a
I
lovely conversation.
I have enjoyed spending time with you. It's been far too long, but I absolutely am very proud of you. I'm so glad you're on this podcast and your listeners. They're not getting this is just a glimpse of who you are. It's just a small piece of who you are.
Yes.
And at some point, they will learn more about you. This is season 2. Congratulations. So
Thank you.
I wish you many, many more. And, if you need me again, let me know.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate your friendship, and we'll talk soon. And for
Okay.
all of you listening, thank you all, and we'll talk soon. See you later. Take good care.